Hi everyone, how are you? Hope you're well. I was thinking it's been so long since I've read a story to everyone that I thought I'd come on today and have a little story time. Now I've chosen the book for today because it's one of the books that I really like and I hope you really enjoy it too. So first of all we're going to have a wee look at the front cover of our book because that gives us lots of clues what our storybook might be about. So what can you see on the front cover of this book? I can see a whale, I can see fish, I can see a crab, I can see a tiny little snail, I can see a parrot, and I think this story might be all about these animals in the sea. The title of this book is The Snail and the Whale, so that tells us that the story is going to be about a snail and a whale. I wonder what they do, wonder what they get up to. Let's have a look. Our first page inside tells us again the title of the story. So it tells us The Snail and the Whale. And it also tells us about the author. Now the author is the person who writes all the words in the book that tells us the story. And the author of this book is Julia Donaldson. So she's written all the words that you see in the book. And the illustrator is called Axel Scheffler. Now this person is the person who drew all the pictures. All these lovely pictures in this book were drawn by Axel Scheffler. So that's a very important job as well. That's the story. So here we are. Let's see what this snail and this whale get up to. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey blue humpback whale. And this is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock, and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still and stay put. But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, I've got it, I'll hitch a lift. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looked and curled and said, Lift wanted around the world. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, Come sail with me. And this is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frothled and sprayed and splashed the tiny little snail on the tail of the whale. And these are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny, blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky and the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, but she said to the whale, I feel so small. But then came the day the whale lost his way. There were speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim far too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in the bay. Quick, off the sand, back to sea, cried the snail. "But I can't move and land, I'm far too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it," he cried, and he started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny little snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with an itchy foot. "A snail! A snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," say the children, "it's leaving a trail." It's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale." So off went the children, running from school, fetching the firemen to dig a great big pool, squirting and spraying all the water to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into bay, and these are the villagers shouting, "Hooray!" And as the whale and the snail travelled safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves, and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the great big blue humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. On go. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey blue humpback whale. The end. Well done, boys and girls, for all that listening. Did you enjoy this story? I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. And thank you very much for listening. And hopefully see you all soon. But for now, just stay at home and take care and have lots of fun with your mummies and daddies and whoever's at home with you. Okay? See you soon, everyone. Bye. Miss you.